learn about introduction to Indian knowledge systems. I am a student of Indian knowledge system and I have a little bit expertise on it. Since this is my first videos and particularly in English language, I hope I will try to keep it nicely, but I promise I will improve day by day. Okay, so whenever you hear about the term Indian knowledge systems, the three terms we see here: Indian knowledge and systems. Just pause this video and think about what do you mean by Indian knowledge system. Whatever you have imagined, whatever you have studied up to this, you have just to write it down. So just pause for a minute and then continue the video. Okay? Astu. So what you will see, what you might have written, what you know yet about the Indian knowledge system, but no issue at all. We will discuss about what these three means. What do we mean by Indian? If we say Indian, what does these terms mean? Then if we say knowledge, then what does this term mean, in particular in context of IKS? And systems, what is the meaning of term system, particularly in context of knowledge systems? Okay, so basically we will learn each of these terms and then reflect on the complete meaning of the term Indian knowledge system. First is the knowledge. In India, we use a better term, I think, is gyāna, or somewhere we say jñāna, but gyāna or jñāna, whatever it is. So gyāna is, you can say, parallel to knowledge in some way better also. But what is gyāna? But before knowing to the gyāna, we have to know the two basic categories: agyāna and gyāna. Agyāna and gyāna. Agyāna means there is also debate what we say about agyāna, because suppose you know something which is wrong, or which is not knowledge. Is agyāna is the absence of knowledge? So there is a debate, particularly in Vedanta also. The Vedanta accept that agyāna is not the absence of knowledge. It is not the knowledge, but something like it is, like the knowledge. So but there is a debate a lot. But so in one sense, agyāna may be the absence of knowledge, and another sense, it may be the absence of not totally the negation of knowledge, but something which is not knowledge, but there is something. It's not completely absence. It's not blank. It's not slate. Okay. So this is agyāna, the theory of agyāna. Again is the gyāna. Gyāna simply means the presence of knowledge. In today's, since we are discussing in a layman way, and it's my first video, so we will also try to put basic things first. So gyāna simply means knowledge, and what its definition is, it's sarva vyavahar hetur buddhi jnanam. So definition is this. So it means the gyāna is hetu, cause of all worldly transactions. It is the basis of all. Whatever we do in our world, whatever we think, we do, all these things, whatever we do, The basis of this is knowledge. So you could see here the knowledge is very much important in our life, and the IKS also accept the same. Now, the knowledge is of two types. One is smṛti and another is anubhava. Anubhava means direct experience. It is cognition. Okay. And what is smṛti? It means you have done some perceptions, experiences, and then it is stored in your brain. Okay. So it is called as just like a memory. So it is smṛti. And anubhava is the direct experience. Now the anubhava is also of two types. So gyāna is one is smṛti. It is nothing but a memory of a prior cognition. Then anubhava, that is cognition. Anubhava again has two types. One is yathartha and ayathartha. What is yathartha? Yathartha means which is valid experiences. Whenever you have seen in many times, the thing we see is not real, or there may be some problems in the perception. Suppose a person is visually not able to see things clearly, so this perception might be wrong, or it may be that some person see a snake in the rope, so here also perception could be wrong. So the anubhava or the cognition is of two types. One is yathartha and ayathartha. Ayathartha means valid cognition. Okay. And the yathartha means valid cognition, and ayathartha means invalid cognition. Simple. Now this yathartha, that is valid cognition, is called prama. So yatharthanubhavah prama iti uchyate. So the prama is nothing but the valid cognition. Now this yathartha anubhav or valid cognition, that is prama, is again of many types. A few schools of in philosophy accept 2, few accept 3, few accept 4, few accept 5, few accept 6 also. So in general, what we see, and particularly according to Nyāya, there are 4 types of pramāṇas or pramāṇas. First is pratyakṣa, second is anumiti, third is upamiti, and the fourth one is śabda. Pratyakṣa, anumiti, upamiti, and śabda. What is pratyakṣa? It is the direct perception. It's called as in simple word, it's direct perception. What is anumiti? It is the inferential knowledge. Then what is upamiti? It is the knowledge that is gained through the analogy or comparison. Just like when you see a cow in your city, and when you go to the wild, you say something like mithun, and you say that it's just like a cow. So it is upamiti. And the last is verbal testimony. A person, there is a trustworthy man who has experienced something and written down in a form of text, or is saying something which is also, he must be a valid, trustworthy person. His knowledge is his experiences, which is converted into either the written or the oral form, is known as the verbal testimony, which is called śabda pramāṇa. So pramāṇas kati. So in general, we say 4 pramāṇas, particularly according to Nyāya: pratyakṣa, anumiti, pramāṇas, not pramāṇas means of valid knowledge. Here we are talking about yathartha anubhava, that is prama. Prama is of 4, that is pratyakṣa, then anumiti, then upamiti, and then śabda. These are prama. Now, as we have discussed, that gyāna has two types: smṛti, which is memory; anubhava, which is cognition. Then there's again the valid cognition and invalid cognition, which is called yathartha anubhava, and then ayathartha anubhava. And then we have seen the yathartha anubhava is generally of four, which is called pratyakṣa, anumiti, upamiti, and śabda. And then what is here we are discussing is ayathartha anubhava. There is invalid cognition, and it is also of three types. So Nyāya mentions that there are three types of invalid cognition. The first one is saṃśaya. Saṃśaya means doubt. Okay. So when you see when you see two or more possibilities, so just like when you are seeing a thing which is quite distant, you say it may be pole, or it may be something person, it may be a girl, it may be a boy. So there are a lot of equal possibilities that you are getting. So it is also a cognition, but it is invalid cognition, and it comes under the realm of doubt. Now there is another one which is viparyaya. Viparyaya is not doubt. It is the mithya gyāna. It's the error. It's the illusion. Suppose you are seeing something as a rope as a snake. So at that point of time, you have an error, and this is called as viparyaya. Now the third, which is quite difficult to grasp you initially, is the tarka. Tarka, we say particularly, is hypothetical reasoning. So hypothetical reasoning is not considered as the valid cognition in Nyāya school, and they are perceived as a invalid cognition, but helps in the pramāṇas, particularly in the anumana pramāṇa. So they are the hypothetical reasoning. They are the suppositional argument used to test or support a claim. So they are not itself a final knowledge. Okay, they are just the hypothetical logic which is used to prove or support, which helps in particular inferences, but they are not a valid cognition itself. So Nyāya maintains that tarka is also a invalid cognition. Okay, so you have now seen that the idea of knowledge in here, that knowledge is sarva vyavahar hetu. Whatever we do and whatever do, all in as an action, every actions has a base, and the base is knowledge. Knowledge is the base, should be base of every action. Okay, now knowledge in India is of two: yathartha, smṛti, and anubhava. Anubhava is again of two: yathartha and yathartha, and then we will move to the pramāṇas. So knowing all those concepts, knowing which of the concepts are ayatharth gyan, which is of the tarka, which is viparyaya, in particular school, how the knowledge are organized. These all things comes under the realm of knowledge. Okay. In knowledge, we could also discuss about the classifications of knowledge, all those things. Okay. Now, here the terms comes system. What is a system? The system is so, as we know that Indian intellectual tradition has almost a span of more than 5,000 years. Okay, so in 5,000 years, we have accumulated a large knowledge, and not of a single domain, of multiple domains. As we in modern education system, we see There is the humanities, there is sciences, there is social sciences, it's again of history, polity, geography. So you could see that uh, the way today's modern education systems have various domains. Similarly, in the 5,000 years of our knowledge, uh, we have also created a huge knowledge, and they all are systematized. They all are classified into various domains. Although the domains of the classification might be different from the domains of where we are classifying today, but they too have classified them. And each of the domains have the text, they have the author, they have their concepts. Suppose there is art, there is a artisan. If there is a doctor, there must be, if there is medical sciences, there must be practitioners. So these are whole combines of systems. One system, then multiple systems, because there are various domains of knowledge in India. Okay, so now you have to understand knowledge systems. It means India is a country which has recorded intellectual history of more than 5,000 years, and in the course of that period we have accumulated a large amount of knowledge, which uh, which and of multiple domains. Each domains have multiple schools in it, and each schools have their own texts and their own authors. There are art, there are artisans, there are practitioners, there are oral tradition, there is written tradition. So this all makes systems. Okay, now comes to the term Indian. So what uh, what do we mean by Indian here? Does we mean that the knowledge systems which are produced or originated in this present political map of India? Is it this? Just think about it and then tell. As we know that culturally India is not in the shape as it is today. It was quite big. So here we generally use the term Indian subcontinent. Here Indian means Indian subcontinent. So all the knowledge system that are present either in the either in the Pakistan or in the Nepal or in the Bhutan, or you can say in the Sri Lanka, Bangladesh. This all shares a common heritage. Okay, and also if you go extend, it will go to the Indonesia, Thailand also. So, but now we could say that it is a Indian subcontinent or wider Indian subcontinent area. So, but it can never be the present Indian political diagram or map. It could never be. So, when we say Indian knowledge systems, so knowledge systems which are produced, originated, or developed in India. And here, India is not the present political boundary, it is largely the Indian subcontinent. Okay, so all those knowledge that are developed here, originated here, this all we call it as a Indian knowledge systems. Now there is again a debate on the time where we should, since we at least we go back to the 3000 BC from where the Indian Valley civilization is started, and then comes which and then the medieval, then modern. So we have history divided into three silos. One is ancient, medieval, and modern. So is when we see Indian knowledge system, we only means of ancient, or we only means of the medieval period or modern? What do we mean when we say Indian knowledge system in an Indian in terms of time? You have seen most of the researches which are going on are particularly most of them are focused on ancient and early medievals. So what do we mean by? So when we say Indian knowledge system, we mean from the period that it is started to the present. This is the clear understanding of IKS, because it is a parampara, it's not a tradition. There must be, because it has an unbroken ladders of development. So when we say Indian, we do not mean ancient only. We mean from the ancient to the modern. When we will read the history of the particular domains of IKS, we will start from the earliest sources that we are getting, and to the present development, what we have developed so far. Okay, and what needs to be developed. Where is the modern world in terms of knowledge in that particular domain, and where and up to which time we were ahead, and when we stopped writing, or the work got slowed down, and then we got back, or in terms of technology or not. So these all things will be discussed here. So there is time frame is not the issue. Okay, only you have to remember is the space. Space is not the current political boundaries. So you have now understand, I think you have got the basic idea of what is Indian knowledge system. So Indian knowledge systems are the knowledges and the systems of knowledges that developed in Indian subcontinent over the at least of the 5,000 years. And since it is developed from 3000 BC to the present, we have a huge lot of domains, and each domains have huge lot of schools, their texts, their authors, their views, concepts, and we all have to discuss all those things in order to understand them, in order to decolonize our mind, and also in order to develop them and solve the present problems, present challenges. So this whole is the motto of our topic of discussion. I hope this lecture have helped you. In upcoming lectures, we will discuss more about them. My aim is to first to give you all a good understanding of IKS, then move to the UC Net syllabus one by one. Okay, so that's for today. Pranama.